it's just nice, literally, to look at people, right? And to think about, what a different way the world feels right now. So tonight we're sort of developing a system of how we're doing this. So just want to give you a sense of where we're going tonight. So first of all, we're on Facebook Live tonight as well. So next week you can go on Facebook Live, or you can tell your friends. So my guess is there's lots and lots more people watching us there than are in other places. So we're going to start in just a minute. I'm going to introduce Deborah Mintz, who is, as most of you know, grew up in our congregation. And Deborah is really one of the leading singer-songwriters in the Jewish world right now. She's also a rabbinical student at JTS. So she's going to be doing some singing. I'm going to be doing some teaching. The Freed family in Michigan, Ben's family, is going to do a Parsha play skit a la our old camp days. And then Deborah the cantor will finish up with a song and a nigun. So that's the plan for today. So first, actually, I'm just going to turn it over to Deborah to set the mood. So welcome, Deborah.
Thank you so much. It's really such a pleasure to be here. As Rabbi Katz said, I grew up in the congregation, and it's always nice to have an opportunity to sing with people from the shul, especially my parents who are on this. I rarely get to sing with them, so. We'll start with a couple nigun. First one of my favorites by Navatila. Then we'll move into my Makom Bina nigun. Ay, 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 aran, ay, ran, da, da, dan, ay, aran, ay, aran, ay, aran, ay, arababaya, iriram, bambaya, ay, araran, araram, bambao, ay, aran, ay, ran, da, da, dan, ay. Ay, 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 let's try that second section one more time. Ay, 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 ay,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deborah. That was really gorgeous. So this week we're starting to read the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus. And the book speaks to me differently than it does in some other years. It's a book, as most of you know, about sacrifices and purity and impurity and rules related to the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary in the desert. And most years, I find it to be intellectually interesting, but I have to work to make it feel relevant. I don't know how you all think about it, but that's the way I experience the book of Vayikra. But this year, I find that the questions in the book of Vayikra are very similar to the questions that I'm asking. How can something I can't see and can't control, what the Torah calls tuma, how can that change basic things about my life and the life of my community? Why from time to time do people need to distance themselves, to physically separate from one another? How do I create a sense of internal order when faced with a situation that can feel chaotic? How do we respond? How do I respond to moments where life feels so powerful and overwhelming and precious? Well, I probably have different answers than those offered by the book of Vayikra. The questions that animate the project of Vayikra, they feel to me very immediate and pressing. And even as I think about the book as a whole book, not just the Parsha, at the center of the book, in the middle of all those hard questions, is the command to seek holiness. It's commandments over and over again about sacrifice, and it's predicated on the idea that humans are wired to understand the need for sacrifice, to do what we need to do. The Hebrew word for sacrifice, korban, comes from the root to come close. And we all need, and I feel those need for moments of transcendence, of connection to God and other people as we're building sanctuaries, as we're building our own mishkanot of care and love. As important as it is to shelter in place, we also need Mishkan, a holy shelter for God and for us and for all the people who feel the call to respond to everything that we don't know by living lives that are as holy as they can be. This week, I've spoken to many of you, not as many as I wish I could. And I was just so inspired by the things that I heard. The congregant who made a pot of lentil soup and delivered it to 5 congregants that he did not know. The older and very independent person who said, yes, Rabbi, you can have someone a bit younger drop off groceries at my house. I won't go to the supermarket this week. The volunteers, many of whom were in their early 20s, who made over 400 phone calls to almost every member of our show to check in and invite them to be part of our core initiative, those emunah groups, those groups of 7 people who will just call each other once a week and share wisdom and help and advice and a laugh. The kids in our shul who have spent way too many hours on Zoom. We spent so much time telling them no screens, and now all we say is, go look at your screens. You all, because you know how important it is to continue learning, show up again and again on those screens. And the shul staff and lay leaders who are working tirelessly and creatively and with so much dedication in such challenging situations to maintain connections between all of us and between you and all of them, to create a sense of order and to support those who temporarily need to be separate. Perhaps anticipating how challenging it can be to respond with holiness when things feel overwhelming. And a lot of the themes of the book of Vayikra do feel overwhelming. Rashi calls our attention to the first word of the Parsha and the first word of the book. At the beginning of the book, it says, God called Moshe, Vayikra el Moshe. And the word Vayikra is a special kind of call. There's lots of words in the Bible for calling someone, but Rashi says this is not just tell or say or preach or command, all words that show up all over the place in the Torah. The word kara is, he says, lashon chiba. It's language that expresses affection. It's not just those other words, it's a word that has emotion attached to it. And it's as if God has something to say, and God knows that at a time when things feel chaotic, and the book of Vayikra has a lot of chaos in it, a lot of things that seem chaotic, that there's a special way you have to turn to somebody. You have to turn to them with chiba. Rabbi Dani Segal notes, it's as if God just wants to check in, as if before beginning this book of mitzvot, God says to Moshe, hey Moshe, how you doing? You left Egypt. There was that unfortunate incident with the golden calf, the wandering, the kvetching. Like, how are you doing? What would it be like for us to reach out to each other, bilashon chiba, with that sense, with that kindness, and just say, how you doing? Like the angels who call out to each other in love in the Amidah of Musaf, in the Kedusha of Musaf, the Kara Zeh El Zeh Ve'amar. Before we get down to business, we need to check in with each other and even check in with yourselves. How are you doing? How am I doing? I really miss you all. I want to send strength to all of you, strength to the people who are observing a yard site this week and those people who are in mourning. I'm excited that on Thursday night, we're going to have a service. We're working out the details. It's going to be sponsored by the Men's Club, as is their custom. You'll get details about that, and there'll be a chance to remember the people that you observe yard sites for this week. And I hope that their memories bring you strength. I also want to wish great strength to people who are sick in need of healing and all the people who are taking care of those people. As Pesach is coming and we're starting to prepare, let's just continue to do what we've been doing for the past few weeks, checking in with each other, check in with the people who support you, check in with the people who you support. Let's recognize moments of holiness in this week on the Shabbat. Let's build this virtual Mishkan, our community, and fill it with holy deeds. Let's recognize the sacrifices of each of the people who keeps physically distant even when it's hard. And of course, the sacrifices of our healthcare workers, the essential personnel, public transportation, people in supermarkets, pharmacies, community leaders who are helping us through this time. There's a national initiative to go out to your balcony or your window and of course stay socially distant or physically distant and clap for all of those people. So let's do that right after we light candles, go outside and clap for all of those people. And let's continue to call out to each other in love and in holiness. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. I'll tell you at the end of this program all of the times that you can see me and connect with the show. But now I want to turn it back over to Deborah for a little bit more music, which is so gorgeous and so perfect for Shabbat.
Thank you so much. Beautiful, Shakach. So just a brief word about the song we're going to sing now together. Years ago now, I wrote actually one of the first nigunim I ever wrote. And quite soon after, I taught it to Cantor Stevens. And I know that she started putting it in her Friday night davening rotation. It's a melody for Lecha Dodi. So when I recorded my album just a couple of months ago, and the shul so generously agreed to come in as a track sponsor, I knew that this song would be the track dedicated to the shul. I was really honored to record this album with the Hadar Ensemble, a group of musicians I've been singing with for a number of years now. And this album will be out everywhere you get your music on May 12th. But we're releasing a few video singles before then. So we released this last week, and it's, even though it's under really strange and complicated circumstances, it's really an honor to share it and sing it with you today. A little sort of behind the music sneak peek about the composition of this melody for any of you musicians out there. I've always been really drawn to the tradition of switching melodies for Lecha Dodi partway through, that we begin a little bit more slow and meditative, and we build up our energy in the second half to sort of match some of the emotional cadence of the text. So that concept is sort of baked into this melody. It's one melody throughout, but we change the meter and we change the groove. So if you notice those changes, you can enjoy that. We'll do verses 1, 4, 5, 8, and we'll bring it back down for number 9. Yadandadai, 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 yadandadai. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Let's try that chorus one more time. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad, yishmi'anu elam yochad, Adonai echad, Shmo echad, L'shem tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, kiva ora pomi ori, uri uri, shitaberi, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך תודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך תודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ירדנדרי, 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 לא תבושי ולא תקרבי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תאמרי, בך יתפסו עניי עמי, ונבנית עיר אבילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוסי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על ידי שפטרתי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בנם, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Wow, I love that. That was great. And now taking you to Michigan. We are an international Kabbalat Shabbat program here. We have Ben's congregation, Little Rock. We have Michigan. I saw there's people in Canada there. There's people all over the place. So Ben's family grew up doing Parsha Players skits in Young Judea, as did I and several other people on our staff. So it's the reason they came because we used to have conventions, never a Torah, and so there would be a little play about the Parsha. So presenting the Freeds, many generations Young Judeans, Parsha Players.
Bum, 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 ba-da, bum, 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 ba-da, bum, 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 ba-da, bum, 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 ba-da, bum. It's time to read the Torah. It's time to read the book. It's time for Parsha Players, so come take a look. Bum, bum, bum.
Why do we always come here?
I guess we'll never know.
It's like some kind of lesson.
You'll have to watch the show.
It's
the most sensational, inspirational celebration of Parsha Players. This is what we call the Parsha Show. As the Torah turns. We pick things up this week with an enterprising young Israelite coming to visit the Kohanim who's done something very bad.
Oh man, I can't believe I messed up again. Now I have to make another sacrifice.
All right, so you need to sacrifice one full cow, and confess your sins as you bring it to the altar.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. One whole cow? That's a lot. I'm not sure I can afford that right now.
Okay, don't have a cow. You can bring a sheep instead.
I don't think you understand we're really trying to scrape by right now. I just don't have a full sheet for you.
Well, what is it you did anyway that you have to atone for?
Well, it's a little embarrassing, but I made a virtual background that's a picture of my face, and I used it to skip all my online classes and meetings this week.
Oh, well, that's totally understandable these days. I mean, being on Zoom all day is really hard. Since you can't afford the sheep, 2 turtle doves will do the trick. And if you can't handle that, then 10 cups of good flour will do. Here you go.
Not that kind of flour, goofball. That kind of flour.
Oh.
Perfect. I've been trying to get rid of that anyway before Pesach.
All right, and now we go live to Chopped Leviticus. We have 3 enterprising chefs here who are cooking up their offerings. We're going to go find out what we've got.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! All right, chef number 1, Jean-Michel Patrick, what do you have for us here?
I have a pate of roasted legumes paired with a compote of seasonal berries served on a hearty sprouted wheat bread.
Sounds delicious. Chef number 2, Jacques Michel, what do you have for us?
I have the same name as chef number 1. For you, I have haricot vert with a blue cheese patisserie poulet chicken.
Wow. And priest number 3, Arona Cohen, what do you have for us?
I have a beautiful cow cooked down to ashes, including the entrails.
We have an Ola offering. We have a winner. It's the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational Parsha flavor. This is what we call the Parsha Show. Tune in next week on As the Torah Turns. Back to you.
Woo! Jacob, you made me laugh.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
We're not ready. We're not ready for the end. You're the end, right?
I'm the end. You're going to go first?
Not ready for you yet. No. Almost. So before the end, I was supposed to do this earlier, but I didn't. So I just want to tell you some really nice news. So first of all, Mazel Tov to Hannah and David, along with grandparents Barbara and Joel Rothman, on the birth of a son who was actually on his very first Zoom call. So Mazel Tov and Shechianu for that. Really just wishing all good things, Torah and Chuppah and Masim Tovim. Also, Mazel Tov to Ben Cohen and family. Ben is going to celebrate his Beit Mitzvah. As we explained last week, a Beit Mitzvah is a Bar Mitzvah, except that it's in your house. And it's going to be this Sunday, March 29th, 11 a.m. Everyone's invited. Details are on the website. Pesach food. We have been working really hard with all the institutions in Riverdale to arrange for people to be able to buy prepared Pesach food. You can buy meals for your Seders. You can buy meals for Yontif. You can buy meals for the week. You can get a Seder plate, wine, grape juice, all of it. It's going to be centrally distributed, delivered to your door by volunteers. And the idea is we don't want people to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. It's pay what you can. You can pay full price, which is what we'd appreciate. But if you can't, you can pay a little bit less, or you can pay nothing. We have some generous donors who are helping us subsidize this because we really want everyone in Riverdale, because all the shuls in Riverdale together worked really hard on this to be able to celebrate Pesach without that on their heads, the stress of food. We have a lot of programs to get us ready for Pesach. So this Saturday night at 8:45 p.m., there's going to be a community-wide Malava Malka, Goodbye to Shabbat, with insights from the Seder I will be sharing, as will other community leaders from across the denominations. On Sunday night, if you haven't had enough of me, you can come to Lists, Logistics, and Line Items at 8 p.m., where I'm going to talk about the how-tos of Pesach in general and the how-tos of Pesach this particular year. So we'll talk about some of that, and there'll be a chance for your questions, whatever you want to know about, like preparing for Pesach. Later on in the week, on Wednesday night, we're going to be talking about how to lead a Seder for 1, 2, or more people. Again, we're going to talk about how to lead a Seder for some of you. I know this is going to be a very different Pesach. You're not going to be with the people you're normally with, and you might not be with the person who leads the Seder. And so this year we're all going to be leading the Seder, which has deep, deep, deep resonance in our tradition. So we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about, again, the practical things of like, how do you do it? We're going to talk about the whole Zoom thing. Everything is going to be on Wednesday night. As I said earlier, everybody in the congregation is going to be assigned to an emunah group, a group of 7 units of the synagogue, whose job it is simply just to check in on each other and sometimes share wisdom, sometimes share a laugh, sometimes share practical help. You're going to be getting emails about that. Also, as I mentioned earlier, tonight at 7 p.m., just after candlelighting, join the world for a 2-minute round of applause from your front doors, stoops, windows, balconies, roofs, living room, gardens, etc., to celebrate all of the essential workers, our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues, and whoever else deserves a round of applause for their continued essential work. I will be on my porch at 7 o'clock clapping for Shoshi, who's a pharmacist, a very essential worker, and everybody else, all the other people in the congregation who are part of that, and everybody, I think we're all essential workers these last couple weeks. Also, check out our website. We have redesigned the website, like we redesigned pretty much everything in the show, and join our Facebook page. We've been hard at work redesigning it all. You can watch videos of previous Friday nights, other programs that we've done. You can find out what's happening, the all-important Zoom links for everything you ever want. All the Pesach information is constantly being updated. So those are the announcements. I hope that very soon Clifford Nerwin, the president of the congregation, can give these announcements. Maybe next week we'll have him come on as a surprise guest, but for now, I'm going to give it to the cantor to bring us home. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, it's very nice to see you all. I'm actually going to go back to gallery view so that I can see as many of you as possible. I'm going to sing a melody that hopefully is very familiar to all of you. We've done it the last couple of weeks. And what I would love to see is, even though you're all muted, I would love to see you singing back at me. I know I was singing along with Deborah, and it was really lovely to be scanning through and seeing some other people kind of bopping along and singing along as well. So even though we can't actually hear each other, we can still, I think, experience some kind of communal feeling of singing together nonetheless. So please join in. That was wonderful. I hope you were all seeing what I was seeing, which was so much joy and enthusiasm. I felt like I could hear you. It was like a little bit of a hallucination. I felt like I felt all that singing. That was so beautiful. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
shalom,
Shabbat
everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yes, everybody.
Shalom.
Ava.
Safe, everyone.
Shalom, everybody.
Nice being with all of you.
Goodbye, everybody. Oh, it might have been.
There's no power.
Leave now. Bye. Okay. Left the meeting. But is Debbie-
Shabbat Shalom to everybody.
How do I get out of the meeting? Roberta.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Yes.
Oh, I screwed it up.
Hi, Grandma.
We're late. I'm really sorry.
Very nice. Okay, good with that.
Makes it a bit muted out, so.
No, no.
Well, these nice people here.
Say, Davey.
No.
Say, Davey.
Hey, Suzanne.
Hey.
No, John. Sheila did not make it. Sorry we were late.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. 17 participants.
So it's not on that long.
No, a half hour. 45 minutes. Oh, that was 5:44. It wasn't on the floor.
What is that noise? Make some music.
Shalom, everybody.
See, I actually like that.
Hey, Noah. Yeah.
Like everyone.
Someone said Noah. Bye, Noah. Bye, Samantha.
Bye.
Bye, Ava.
Samantha, say bye.
Bye, guys. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.